苏先生, ladies and gentlemen, greeting from Taiwan. My name is Chen Li. I'm the Secretary General of the GoSmart. On behalf of GoSmart Secretariat, it's our honor to have you to join our webinar today. So the webinar today is about the pandemic control forums. So today's event is organized by the GoSmart Subterraneans and also the Taiwan Pandemic Control Industry Alliance. GoSmart is the international smart city platform. We are the community for the smart city stakeholders. So our mission is trying to match the cities and industry to work together to provide a better solution for the cities and citizens. So via today's event, we hope all of you can find your partners and we can focus on provide further more pandemic control service in the future. So look forward to have a more cooperation with all of you. GoSmart currently, we already have more than 200 members that include about 100 city members. So it's very welcome you. If you're not a member of GoSmart yet, please feel free to join us. Before we start the forum, I'd like to invite three of the organizers to give a few words. The first one, I'd like to invite Mr. Liu Xinke, Commissioner of Department of IT from Taipei City Government, which is the chair of the GoSmart. 李局长在吗？
Hi.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Thank you, 李局长。来，局长请。
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Simon Liu, and I'm the CIO of the Taipei City Government. And it's my honor to be here and on behalf of Taipei City, and which is the current chair of the GoSmart. And we all know that the world is still facing the ravages of the COVID-19 at this very moment. And unfortunately, we have our advanced technology allow us to meet online and share our insight and experience, and despite the severe and limitations on travel. And Taiwan has been recognized as one of the most successful countries and in the world to take care of the pandemic. And thanks to our advanced and prevention policies and application and of the technologies, I wish to take the opportunity here and to share with you all and on how technology contributes to against the COVID-19. And another one is the types of the solutions and the government are searching for. And hopefully, and we hope the discussion and will bring us more insight and the concept and for the next challenges. Furthermore, and I really hope and it would be wonderful if we can match the demands for the COVID-19 and the related smart solutions with the solution provider, and thereby we can create some potential business and opportunity through today's event. And we truly appreciate your participations and join efforts on today's events. And thank you all, and have a great day and for this event. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Liu. I think Taipei City also do lots of solutions helping to manage and prevent the COVID-19. One of the speakers also come from Taipei cities. So next, I want to invite Mr. Stan Shi, who is the chairman of the Taiwan Pandemic Control Industry Alliance, and also the chairman and the co-founder of the ACER.
My name is Stan Xi. I'm not the chairman of WITSA now. I retired for 70 years. Next year.
Forever chair.
Finally, we have this webinar, especially with the help of Peter. He talked with me about how we can present what's the happening in Taiwan for the overseas. And I appreciate to keynote speaker, and one is the Mr. Hong Ren Zhang. He really have a good experience in CDC. He's head of CDC and also head of the National Health Insurance Company. Both of that are, I believe, is one of the best in the world, right? I believe. And also, another keynote speaker is the Eric from the Netherlands. Okay, so and then we have 5 experts from the industry share what's the experience we have. I think Taiwan is really control the COVID-19 I believe it's the best in the world. So I hope Taiwan can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stan. Okay, so the next, I want to introduce another co-organizer. That will be the staff Terrence. The Mila, she's the manager of the staff Terrence. Will give a very brief introduction about the staff Terrence.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. So I'm Mila Jones, manager of Startup Terrace. So thanks. I'd like to, on behalf of Startup Terrace, I'd like to thank you to special thank you to GoSmart and TPCIA for hosting this brilliant event and bringing all this audience to Startup Terrace. So I know that for the friends online, most of you are friends of GoSmart and TPCIA. So I'd like to take this chance and introduce what Startup Terrace is. So Startup Terrace is a startup located in Linkou, New Taipei City. So where exactly it is? It's in the middle of like Taoyuan Airport and Taipei downtown. So it takes like 13 minutes from each of these two spots. And it's surrounded by 8 industrial parks and many like hospitals and schools. So that's why we think it's the perfect spot for international startups to land in Taiwan. So talking about Startup Terrace is the actual layout of Startup Terrace. So we have 1 floor plus 3 buildings. In total, we're using more than 48,000 square meters in total. And so the design concept of Startup Terrace is to fulfill what a startup or an accelerator need in a working day under like 1 roof or 3 roofs. So what do we offer to our resident companies? So we have independent office, co-working spaces, meeting room, etc. And we have event spaces for product launching or press conference, etc. And we have dormitory as well, and we have studio, gym, and napping room or meditation room or prayer room. So except for all those hardware facilities, what do we offer? What kind of services do we offer to our startups? We offer resources and consulting. So we have a legal team helping international startups to land in Taiwan. So we help them to do the business registration and the entrepreneur visa application in Taiwan. And then we have ecosystem networking. So that's why we have more than 100 startups, which is 59 companies resident in Startup Terrace now. And here we in Linkou, but not in downtown Taipei. So what do we have? We have many spaces. So what does this value to startups? We think field trial, proof of concept is the most important thing for startups. So these are the 3 main services we offer to our startups. So for the international friends, we have a very special foreigners friendly program called soft landing program. So it's under 1 month. If you are an foreigner, not the Taiwanese, and you are interested in come to Taiwan and see what is Taiwan, what is Taiwan startup ecosystem, you have this right to use all this program. So what will you enjoy? You will have a co-working space and a dormitory, which is accommodation up to like 1 month. And while you stay in Startup Terrace, you are like the official resident company Startup Terrace. So you can use all the networking and proof of concept and all those resources in Startup Terrace. So yeah, that's the brief introduction of Startup Terrace. I hope you enjoy all the event.
Thank you, Mira. Thanks again to all the organizers. Without your support, we will not have the event today. So I'm just almost done. For the next, actually, it's our great honor to have the Mr. Peter Kurz, right? Peter is an expert in financial marketing domain, and also is very well-known people in Taiwan and also globally. So it's our honor to have him as our moderators. So Peter will do the rest of the job, right? Welcome, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. Again, my name is Peter Kurz. While I've been in the financial markets for most of the 30 plus years I've been here in Taiwan, I've spent most of the past 10 years focusing on the biotech industry, again here in Taiwan, but elsewhere, and even since retiring from Citi, also very much involved in bioinformatics and again the biotech industry as well. I'm particularly proud to see that GoSmart has chosen Taiwan as the location of this forum here, given, as just to repeat Stan Scher's comments, that Taiwan has been probably the most successful government in managing, controlling, and preventing the pandemic here in Taiwan. And largely through not only good policies, but also good technologies. And I think very innovative technologies, which it's going to be our opportunity today here to hear about. We have a number of presenters from Taiwan, from cities elsewhere, from Utrecht and beyond, who will also be able to present their experiences and again, their technologies and strategies in dealing again with this terrible COVID-19 pandemic that we're currently experiencing. There are a number of these city representatives online. I won't go into introducing them at this point, but they will be available at the end of the seminar for any questions and answers that you would like to discuss with them. Before progressing with the forum, I'd like to go through some of the rules and suggestions for everyone here. First of all, you would probably have the most useful experience if you chose the sidebar mode for your on the webinar itself. Beyond that, there is just a few requests that we have. First of all, if you could turn your microphones and cameras off, that'll reduce the amount of background noise and interference for the other presenters. For the presenters themselves, there'll be a 1-minute reminder, a single bell, and then 2 bells at the end of your presentation, so be aware of that. And for the participants in the webinar itself, you're welcome to share your comments, questions all throughout the presentation in the message bar on your screen. And then at the end, we'll also open up for Q&A for you to come directly online at the with the invitation of the moderator, myself. At this point, can we get everyone together for a group photo? We have everyone stand up just sort of behind here. Stand. Okay, always stay.
No, let's just stay seated.
Yeah, you stay seated where you are. Yeah, yeah. We'll come behind you. And we'll get everyone online up on the screen behind us as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, can everyone who's online, I just told you to turn your cameras off. Ignore what I just said. Let's turn them on for just one moment so we can get all you on the screens in the background there. Get a few more people turn their cameras on. Good. Yeah, the thumbs up is a good effect there.
1, 2, 3. Are we good?
Okay.
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 All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this point, I'd like to invite Dr. Hongren Zhang to come up. Spencer already stole my line by saying that Dr. Zhang is one of the pioneers, the leaders in establishing Taiwan's world-class healthcare system in his roles as head of CDC and the National Health Insurance Administration. So I don't think there's anyone more qualified to discuss some of the strategies and again, technologies that Taiwan has rolled out in this COVID pandemic process. So Dr. Zhang, over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Let me share with you how to build a world-class COVID-19 resilient system. These are the categories of the traditional technologies, which I'm not going to talk about. Okay. At this point, it's already 1 year, so we know what's working. The best strategies stop enemy at the gate, such as Taiwan and New Zealand did. The second best is when the virus is already in, so you have rapid extensive testing and contact tracing, such as Korea. Or you use your soft power. You have this very high level of personal hygiene and mask wearing, such as Japan. But most countries got it wrong. And one of the few countries that did it right from the very beginning, because Taiwan has this big data, new technology, and very proactive system. One book last year published says who has the best health care, and Taiwan was one of them. It says that because of a couple of factors, we are highly suspicious of the Chinese, any Chinese information. We have this culture of face mask wearing, and we have this particular technology called the smart card. This smart card, because Taiwan has a universal health system, and everybody has this smart card. It's a chip in it, so you can have a system. So we built this system 17 years ago after the SARS. This system enables us, this is one example. So Taiwan is one of the very few countries that we have real-time data to monitor our infectious disease. This is one example. This is the so-called flu-like illness surveillance system. So you can see that when we control COVID-19, we also can control flu. And last year, the flu complications almost gone. So this is one technology. So any city, any country, if you can have this system-wide technology, that is the best approach. We don't need to go to very fancy technology. So last year, Taiwan already have this, very simple design in every hospital. Also, this medical doctor invented this barrier so that when you are intubating patients, you can get protected. But sometimes we need better technology. For example, this is the remote digital stethoscope plus EKG. This is already will be deployed in many of the hospitals here. So doctors and nurses don't need to go into the COVID-19 patient and trying very awkwardly trying to auscultation sort of thing. You can also use a smartphone as a platform. There's a company called iSensor. They are working on this. So they have this point of care handheld device, or they have alternatively the so-called iPhone enabled. And this iPhone enabled testing, you can you can also integrate into the GPS system. So at the same time when the test is done, you know where these patients are. So it's very helpful for the health authorities. And we all know too well that telemedicine has picked up. So there are many companies in Taiwan that have such kind of platform combining with camera working and also all kind of scopes that you can do remotely. If you know how to design a quarantine station, you can do it actually in a couple of days. We all know, lastly, we all know this testing is very awkward. You need to have this swab deep into your nasal pharynx. Okay, there's one company. They originally working on brain navigation. Okay, so this robotics is trying to help doctors to do millimeter precision of brain, and they change it. This is an inventor. Who is the inventor? Okay, so this brain navigation system combined with Roche Cobas Dia, you can put it into a container, fully automated. You don't need anybody inside, patient in, patient out. A test is done in 30 minutes. So if you know where to find these amazing technologies, you can build the best system in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang, for that wonderful overview. At this point now, we'd like to turn over to Mr. Jelle van der Wede, the Director of Health for Utrecht region in the Netherlands, to share his experiences in how Utrecht managed the COVID-19 pandemic. Jelle, over to you. Thank you.
No, in mute.
Oh, Jelle, open your microphone.
Sorry, this is a common mistake.
Great.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Dr. Lee from Startup Terrace, my good friend. It's a really honor to speak in this forum. Can you all hear me well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. It's an honor to speak here, and I hope to visit Taiwan in the near future when the pandemic is under control in the rest of the world. I'm very sure that we all recognize the most, let's say, successful manager of the pandemic control is Taiwan in the world, I think. So we are very jealous about how you could manage to open your society and businesses during this pandemic, as we are in the Netherlands for almost 1 year in a lockdown. My name is Jelle van der Wede, and I'm very pleased that Dr. Commissioner Liu, and I hope I'm pronouncing it well, and Mr. Stan Shi and Dr. Chang is listening to my presentation. Thank you very much for doing this. It's an honor. I'm happy to share some insights from the Netherlands. My name is Jelle. I'm working for the regional development and investment company in the Utrecht region, which is a central location in Europe, in the Netherlands, and we are striving for being the most innovative and livable region of Europe, and also looking at what we can do in terms of looking at the pandemic. Before we want to go to the introduction of the way we use our knowledge to pandemic control, I would like to introduce you a little bit about Utrecht region, which is a central location in the Netherlands, very close to the Amsterdam airport, very close to other regions in the Netherlands, but also very close to other countries in Europe, like the Scandinavian, the UK, but also Germany and France. So that's why we would like to emphasize that we open our region for welcoming all kinds of innovations from all over the world to validate your solutions into a European environment. Please, next slide. Before going in the real details of how we control the pandemic and what challenges we see, I would like to introduce the Utrecht Science Park, which is the largest science park in the Netherlands, and we are focusing on improving health and the quality of life. And that's a very important part, because I think what we would like to do in terms of pandemic control is we would like to go beyond pandemic control and see how we can do more prevention. So with a top 100 university, a university medical center, a childcare center, a Netherlands Center for Hospital Care for Child Cancer, the Hubrechts Institute for Organoid Research, 130 more private companies, 27,000 people every day working on the Utrecht Science Park, and over 50,000 students. We would like to see how we can look at pandemic control in terms of pandemic prevention. Next slide, please. What we are focusing on is healthy urban living. As you see in the middle, you see the University of Utrecht, the University Medical Center, and the University of Applied Sciences working together on healthy urban living. How can we live in cities and live in a healthy life? On the left side, you see we are focusing on several areas and research in terms of future cities, future food, in terms of sustainability. And on the right side, you see the life sciences and health focusing on One Health, and we'll come to that a little bit later. Personalized medicine, personalized prevention, science for life, regenerative medicine, stem cells, and healthcare innovation. All things working together in order to bring people in a good, healthy situation, living in an urban environment. Next slide, please. On this Utrecht Science Park, we have also the National Institute for Public Health and Environment, which is like in Taiwan, the most important expert place for looking at how to control the pandemics. And this organization is almost daily in the news, how to control and how to overcome all those issues regarding the lockdown, because we are suffering very much in the Netherlands in terms of not going into social environments and also in businesses. And also we have in a close proximity the medical medicines evaluation board, which is a very important part, of course, now in looking at the vaccines. Next slide, please. One of the companies on the Utrecht Science Park is Genmab, which is the largest biotech company in Europe, and they are looking at all kinds of biotech solutions for future healthcare, especially in the environment of personalized health, and also looking at twinning to build a twin of your cell, your tissue, even your whole body, if you can do that in a digital way. So they're looking at all kinds of way of regenerative medicines for the future. Next slide, please. I said I want to come back on One Health. One of the organizations on the Utrecht Science Park is the Center for One Health. One Health is the combination between veterinary health care and also human health care, and also in the combination where animals and humans meet each other. It could be in, let's say, environments in a farm, but also in nature. And we like to emphasize that zoonoses like the coronavirus, but also other viruses and also bacteria and also future pandemics are mostly based on coming from animals into humans or the other way around. Like we are suffering now for the bird flu at the moment again. So a lot of pig farms, chicken farms are now closed because of this. So the zoonosis and controlling of zoonosis is very important. So One Health is a very important part of our future, looking at prevention of pandemics. Next slide, please. We do that in public-private partnerships like the RevMed XB, regenerative medicine, the cancer, but also vascular and also all kinds of organ-on-a-chip partnerships. Next slide, please. What's the present situation? At the moment, we have 17 million people in the Netherlands, and over 1 million people have been tested positive of corona. And we saw last year 15,000 people died. And if you can see in the slides, in the pictures below, you see our youth is very much suffering from this. They are very depressed. And you see on the right side, we have a social distancing. So if you cross your arms and you do it like this, you feel that someone else is embracing you. Next slide. We see major challenges. This is last week. We have now temperatures of 10 Celsius below, above, but we have last week we had 10 degrees Celsius below. So we're all skating on lakes and rivers. And if you can see, social distancing is not at the moment in place anymore. So how can we hand our total population, if they really want to go out, if they really want to meet each other? Next slide, please. Can we go back to life? Can we go back to normal events, normal shopping, normal social environments again? So this is one of the tests we are doing right now, how we can organize events in this theater with certain bubbles, with certain way of grouping people and see how we can go back to a normal life in theaters and events. This was last week. Next slide, please. So we're trying to do our best also in innovations. GenMap, as I told you before, the biotech company is providing together with the Hubers Institute now a test robot, a Strip-1, which is very fast in providing tests for COVID-19. And they are implemented right now in the Netherlands. And on the right-hand side, you see the spiral nose detects COVID in your breath. Instead of doing a nasal swab, you can now do it in your breath. And we also have a lot of corona apps for contact research in place, like you have in Taiwan as well. Next slide, please. So as we mentioned, we have a broad research in University of Utrecht working together on a global scale. And you see that we were also working on SARS in the past. And based on that research, we could help the pharma, Janssen and also AstraZeneca with our previous way of research. No more arguments. Next slide, please. And this is a little bit distorted, but as you can see, we are trying to work together to overcome societal challenges and pandemic challenges, to work together with several parties in Taiwan and also in the Netherlands to bridge the gap and to really exchange healthcare innovations for all people in the whole of the world, as two of the best systems in the world can work together for the rest of the world, working on these kind of solutions. Next slide, please. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So we have a lot of challenges to go in order to open up our country again. We have a lot of vaccine programs in place, but for prevention of pandemics, the One Health cooperation, the biotech cooperation, we would like to really see how we can welcome innovations from all over the world, and especially from Taiwan, to validate and to really to overcome societal challenges together. Because only together we can beat pandemics. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jelle, for that wonderful presentation. Utrecht clearly is one of the leading biotech centers in Europe and indeed the world, and I think their experiences were most valuable. Although I have to say my personal favorite innovation was this hugging gesture there, which I think we should adopt here in Taiwan as well. Moving on, I'd like now to introduce Mr. Ray Lin, the Director of Global Marketing and Corporate Communication for Acer E-Enabling Business Service. Ray will be talking about the THAS system of integrating the information systems of participating hospitals. So Ray, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on this stage. I'm Ray. I'm from Acer AEB, and for the next 8 minutes, I'll be introducing a system that we built for Taiwan CDC. It's basically a surveillance system where the CDC official and the hospital managers can look up the data regarding infection and also the antibiotic resistance situation in the hospital. Next page, please. Before introducing the system itself, I'd like to highlight there are many factors contributing to Taiwan's success in fending off COVID-19. Not just the information platform. There are organization efforts where we have to build the right structure and building the right talent, and also the regulation kind of take a little bit to fit the needs of fending off pandemic, especially so after the SARS hit Taiwan hard at the early 1990. Okay, but of course the information platform is one of the key factors, and the THAS system, which is built for CDC, is one of the building blocks. So what is THAS system provide and contribute to CDC's effort? Next, I have a show video that I can share with you. So please go to next page. Okay, so the video highlight the value, the contribution, the key features, and what does it provide to the CDC. And now I'd like to go back a little bit on the history. We actually was contracted by CDC at the early 2019. For the project. So we started to define and design the requirement and also the spec with CDC team, and we probably use another 6 to 8 months to develop the system and also do a lot of site checking. And on the system actually go live at November 2019, which is right after we go live the system, the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic struck the world. So I would say the system comes in handy for CDC to handle this issue. Please. For the scope of the project, the system basically cover more than 90% of the major hospital and medical units in Taiwan. So that runs up around 600 plus hospital, clinics, and medical units. And also there are over 1,400 professionals and medical staff access the system regularly to report the infection and also the antibiotic resistance situation in the hospital. And also the system allow the CDC official to access those data on a real-time basis to evaluate the situation island-wide, where and how the hospital dealing with different infection diseases, and also how the hospital been handled in their hospital antibiotic resistance situation. Next page, please. I think the benefit is really obvious. It helps save life. Okay, the actual data given to the official help them to have the full picture of what happened on the field. They can access the risk. They can assess the risk of the hospital. They can assess what happened in the field, so that they can formulate a counter-strike strategy that's right for the needs of the hospital and for the needs of the people. And also the platform help improve the management of antibiotic use of the hospital. The hospital manager can base on the data from their hospital to benchmark against the international trend, so that they can know how they perform in that regard, well or worse against their against the other players in the healthcare industry. Next page, please. Because of the system's contribution to fending off pandemic, and also the technology that it presents, we also received in May 2020 the Global ICT Excellence Award from WITSA. It's the COVID-19 Best Industry Solution. That proof. The reward proves that we had a team that can really provide the needed technology to the user, to the government, to the CDC in this case, and also it recognized that the team that has the effort and the commitment to help the government to deliver this kind of platform that can help CDC to prevent the COVID-19. Next page, please. Again, I'd like to highlight some of the key features. You might already see that in the video. The first one is the dashboard. The easy dashboard allows the user to look at the key important parameters at a real-time basis, so that they can look at the distribution of the infection. They can also look at the trends of infection density. They can also look at the SIR ratio for the invasive infection. And also, there are over 600 hospitals with different legacy systems. So the solution itself offers flexible and customized tool to integrate this different system, so that the data flow, the data accuracy can be secure, and also the capability can be maximized. And because the system is deal with very sensitive personal medical data, medical records, so modern and advanced technology was embedded in the system. For example, like multi-factor authentication and multi-level authorization. This kind of technology was embedded in the system, so that the maximum security can be secure. And also for the official and for the user to feel comfortable about inputting this kind of sensitive data into the system. Next page, please. Okay, so now comes to the more important part of my presentation, which is to a little bit commercial on my company. Okay, AEB stands for Acer Enabling Business Service Inc. We are a subsidiary of Acer. And I think most of you understand Acer well. It's a trustworthy brand. Please go to next page. We have over 7,000 employees worldwide, and right now we have access, and also we have location. We have our office in over 160 countries. Okay, so together with Acer Group, AEB can help and support the corporates worldwide. Next page, please. Right now, we have over 300 plus professionals serving more than 20,000 corporate clients around Greater China region. Next page. And also, we are partnered with more than 200 first-tier IT partners like Microsoft, like IBM, Google, Michael, Adobe. So we'll be able to translate the top-tier technology into a real-world application at local market, for example, like in Taiwan or in China or in some of the Southeast Asia countries. Next page, please. Okay, so over the years, we received multiple awards. For example, we are right now a CMMI Level 3 certified. That demonstrates we have the needed technology and needed R&D resources to fulfill the needs and wants of a customer. Next page. For our customer base, we serve more than 50% of the Taiwan top 100 enterprise. And also we serve more than 70% of the public agency and state-owned enterprises. So these spaces are our valuable asset. We have the long-term relationship with most of these customers. Okay, next page. Okay, that concludes I heard a ring, so I pretty much on the mark. This AEB is a digital enterprise enabler. Okay, so if you had any question with regard to the system that I just introduced to you, or any question regarding the digital transformation, I'll be more than happy to help you address the question. So my contact email address is at the below. So thank you for this opportunity to introduce the system and also the company. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray, for that informative presentation. Certainly, the hospitals are at the front line of preventing community transmission of infectious diseases and pandemics, and getting accurate, comprehensive, and immediate information fed up to the policymakers is critical. And so we definitely appreciate Acer's contribution in this regard. At this point now, I'd like to introduce Nevin Shao, Vice President of Wistron Information Technology and Services Corporation, to talk about the epidemic prevention information systems that they've helped roll out in cooperation with the CDC here in Taiwan. Nevin, over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, hello everybody. I'm Nevin Shao. I'm from Wistron IDS. Wistron IDS is the IT professional and the leader in Taiwan's market. And we have collaborated and partnered with the Taiwan CDC to design, develop, and implement the applications for over 10 years. Okay, let me share with you what we done with the CDC. Okay, let's start from the business scenario of the outbreak prevention scenario. As you know, when the travel boats entering to the country, either from the airport or from the seaport, they have to fill the declaration form for their health status and get the temperature of their bodies. If any abnormal body temperature or the any symptoms like the fever or the cold, then the CDC staff will go through the next procedure to understand the passengers' travel histories or their symptoms. If needed, they will conduct the inspection and testing procedures. And if the inspection samples will get to the lab, and the passengers should have the home isolation or the home quarantine. Okay, the second scenario is the testing and tracking. As you know, when inspection samples have been done, they were sent to the medical centers for lab testing and analysis. If the testing report shows positive and confirmed, then the city staff will try to ask their travel history and send them to the hospital for isolation and the medical treatment. And meanwhile, all the passengers and the CDC staffs will analyze the possible possible disease spreading area and the possible contact list to do the next round test collection samples. And the third scenario is for the all passengers have the self and home quarantine for 14 days. And the local government will check with the passengers regularly to understand if any new symptoms, like the fever or the cough, and tell the caring. And they leverage the mobile GPS location services to understand if the passenger or the home isolation have leave the desired location. If they are leave the desired locations, then the system will notify the police officer and get to your place to take you home. Yeah, that's very fun. Okay, let's back to the IT perspective. Actually, we have organized and standardized many CDC prevention activities into the disease prevention and monitoring platform. They are including the smart quarantine multifunctional system, we call it SQMS, to support the border defense, the activities to frontline testing staff, the doctors, the hospitals to monitor. And we have the lab information management system, we call the LIMS, to track and log any inspection samples status. If that shows the positive, then we'll pass to the infection disease announcement system, we call the IDA system. The system will also log and announce the positive or the affected list to classify and the tracking for further status. And there are also many outbreak convention management system, electronic fastings, and data storage system to support the all platforms collaboration well. As you know, now there are many new activities and preventing tactics. So we design and develop with the CDC of the API management platform. The API management platform is the open and standard interface and the gateway to integrate the external organization's database or the system. For example, they can collaborate and integrate with the airline companies to know the positive cases who sit neighborhood around the positive seats and positive case at the same flight. And the control migration bureaus and the clinical histories to understand the positive case, the clinical and the medical history. And many data can be exchanged by this API management platform. So all the platform can be operated by the web-based interface. So the CDC staff can use the mobile devices to operate and acquire the information by these mobile devices. I think that's very fashion and new technologies. Okay, here are the more details and sub-functions for the outbreak prevention and monitoring platform. And many of the functions we have collaborated with CDC to develop. They are very detailed. And I have declared that all the system copyright and the system owner is owned by the Taiwan CDC. Okay. Okay. So, okay, at the end then, Wistron IDS is the leading IT service corporate over the world. We have over 5,000 employees, especially programming engineer. So we can support and as the user's partner for a long time. So I think we can support the COVID-19 prevention, and we can support many corporate IT information system to develop and implement. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Devin, for that wonderful presentation, and thank you for keeping on time as well. In fact, I'll need to remind the other speakers again to please bear in mind that those rings are in the background. Sometimes it's going to be hard for you to hear when you're presenting online, so just keep your ears out for that cat. So next up we have Yongqing Zhang, the Section Chief of the IT Department from the Taipei City Government. We'll be talking about their implementation of the MyCode system that allows for tracking of people in public venues, which has again allowed Taipei City to have a number of open events that would have been otherwise impossible without this system. So Yongqing, over to you.
Okay, can everyone hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, hi. My name is Zhang Yongqing from the Department of Information Technology. I am honored to be here today to present to all of you the real name registration system called MyCode, developed by my department. Next. Due to COVID-19, the norm of day-to-day activity for citizens has seen big changes. Wearing face mask, have your temperature taken when entering public facilities, and rubbing your hands with alcohol has become a part of our daily life. An important issue today is to maintain regular social activities while maintaining pandemic prevention measures. Taipei City government has been looking at possible on how information technology can support a lifestyle which balances daily life and pandemic prevention to help people uphold their rights to live a normal life in such big change environment. Next. For pandemic prevention policy, when a confirmed case occurred in public areas, the most important thing is the ability to track contacts. That's why the CDC published the Guide to Disaster Prevention Real Name Registration Policy Implementation. It ensures that contact information of the public can be collected while ensuring the security and privacy of personal data. However, regardless of whether such data are filled out by individuals on paper or complete and uploaded to the online document, each approach has their preference. Data on paper runs into the problem of physical storage, while online documents are stored on cloud servers of third parties, which might result in data security issues. Likewise, given that both forms are completed by individuals, there is also room for errors which might make contact tracking less reliable. Next. With the subsiding of the initial wave of the pandemic, Taipei City government reopened a number of public venues. However, it still separates the different types of venues under A and B categories to facilitate management. A category venue are public space operated by government agencies, while B cover those ranging from theaters to entertainment facilities. Individuals who wish to access public venue need to produce identity documents at the gates. For this purpose, we developed an app called MyCode to implement real name registration mechanism. All accessible public venues have adopted this system to ensure that the personal data remain on a secure database on the cloud. In a case which might require the personal data for contact tracking, the procedure will comply with personal privacy protection guidelines and delete on the expiration date. Next. The real name registration app is easy to use. Value staff can use micro application to collect and register the personal information of the user onto internal database of Taipei City government, which can be adopted by government authorities. The range of personal data collected is limited to name, ID number, and the contact number. The data are deleted upon the expiration date. Individuals who have read the terms of agreement and choose to enter the respective venue are seen as given their agree in the collection, processing, and the use of their personal data. The flowchart here shows how staff members can download the app, scan the unique QR code of the venue, and proceed to registering the visitor's personal information. Next, please. Individuals have 3 ways to access public venues. These include the Taipei Pass app, the QR code generated by my code or their ID card. The staff at the venue scans the code to complete the real name registration. For Taipei Pass and my code, the contact number of the user is required before they can acquire a necessary QR code for entry. For users showing their ID cards, the barcode was be scanned. Compared to physical paperwork or online document completion, these methods are more effective in collecting the contact information of visitors. Next, please. For public venues, entry control is established at all access points. In addition to checking body temperature and providing alcohol sprays, visitors are also required to register their real name related data. The photo here is taken at the entries of Taipei Zoo. You see in this picture a visitor producing the QR code for the Zoom worker to scan. Next. Taipei City government also used a dashboard tool which shows that over 400 public venues have adopted the micro app. The app has served over 9 million visitors since it was introduced on May 18, 2020. By working in line with visual presentation tools, the city government can acquire a better understanding of app use at the respective venues. Furthermore, the personal data of individuals are stored in an encoded format at the server at Taipei City government, which can be used for follow-up contact tracking if necessary. Next. On August 8, 2020, Taipei area hosts a major concert event, the biggest of its kind since COVID-19 outbreak. The event attracted over 10,000 people. This event is also made it to a report in Times magazines. This is also the first time for the micro system to be applied to a major concert. Next. The micro system was also used for the 2021 Taipei City New Year's Eve countdown party. This is the most important large-scale New Year's Eve event in Taiwan. However, given the pandemic, the organizer implemented the real name registration mechanism. The city also put a cap on the number of people accessing City Hall Plaza, as well as deploying staff to all 24 entry points to assist in the entry registration process. Next. From the dashboard, we can see that over 20,000 individuals participated in the New Year's Eve countdown party at City Hall. Through this tool, the organizers are able to keep track of people entering by the different gates. If we consider the stays from the different time slots, we will notice that the crowd began appearing at around 9 p.m. This information allowed our on-duty staff to reassign and dispatch manpower in mountain control. Next. During the pandemic, Taipei City government hold COVID-19 response meeting on a regular basis. However, it is impossible to obtain a comprehensive understanding of the latest development through meeting alone. To resolve the issue of segmented and discontinuous information, we have taken steps to integrate COVID-19 related data with pandemic information at the Taipei City Big Data Center. Through clear and straightforward visual presentation of the data, viewers will have a better understanding of aspects such as resource allocation adjustments, risk assessment, and pandemic prevention achievements. The information is provided to city officials as reference material in decision making. Next. Finally, details on all pandemic prevention-related SOP and resources have been placed on a website dedicated to Taipei's COVID-19 prevention efforts. This information is also available in English for international use to browse. We update the pandemic prevention-related data on the site on a daily basis. Hopefully, technological assist pandemic prevention measures will be part of the new normal life after the pandemic, ensuring that the public can enjoy a healthy and convenient lifestyle in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yongqing. Certainly, maintaining private, personal data privacy and public health safety are two challenging and often competing objectives. And I think Taipei City government and their MyCode system have addressed this issue very impressively. At this point, certainly the most exciting, I think, development in the global fight against this pandemic has been the very rapid and impressive rollout and approval of new vaccines using, in many cases, very new technologies. But these technologies often require uniquely challenging storage and transportation logistics. Here to provide us with their solution to this challenge is Yadia Colindres, CEO of Foxtech, with their cold chain transportation technology. Yadia.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Yadia. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about our ultra-low temperature freezer with edge IoT for vaccine transportation. So I know this slide's a little bit off-dated as I sent it last month, but what's really shocking is that in 1 month, it increased to 112 million COVID cases reportedly, and the deaths have already a total of 2.5 million reported as of yesterday. As you know, the pandemic is not slowing down for anybody. Here in Taiwan, we're very lucky that the CDC and the government has taken such good care for us. But one of the biggest things that's been happening, and we're very lucky, is the rapid development of these vaccines, which usually takes many months for development. But with these vaccines, we're expected, many of us have heard about Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, which will be rolling out 2 billion doses by the end of 2021 to over 180 countries, thanks to COVAX initiative. But the biggest problems with vaccines is something called cold chain. Cold chain, it's very well known if you ever to import and export foods across the globe. But when you want to transport something as life-saving as a vaccine, it becomes even more difficult and more precarious to take care of. Now imagine you want to transport 1 million doses of something that has to be maintained at -70 Celsius throughout the whole chain. So as you can see here, what we currently is being used, what I guess we see here is something that Bill Gates likes to call the keg of life. It's very often used in third world countries to transport vaccines. But the biggest problem is we cannot transport more than 10 vials inside of here, which is very task and human intensive problem. Then other countries have opted to be able to use something like these boxes. But the biggest problem comes that it uses dry ice. If you have ever eaten some ice cream, you will know that you need to replace that dry ice very often. And when you have a cold chain vaccine like this, let me tell you how many times you need to replace the vaccine. So let's take, for example, I am buying a Pfizer vaccine from Germany. So from Germany, I am going to get this shipped to Taiwan. That's a 16-hour flight. When it finally arrives to Taiwan airport, I need to have a team immediately ready to grab these vaccines, swap the dry ice, and have it ready for the special cold chain truck to arrive to be able to transport these vaccines. Now, this is just thinking I need to have dry ice ready, I need to have trucks ready, and immediately know when this plane is going to land, because I have very crucial time frame to be able to take care of this. Then we're going to transport it to a central hospital, which has a storage system. From this storage system, we're able to use another cold chain truck and transport it locally so everybody gets vaccinated. But you know what's the big problem with this vaccine chain? We're going to lose between 5 to 20% of the vaccines. Let me put this number for you. Let's say I have 10,000 vaccines. I'm going to lose 2,000 vaccines. That means 10,000 doses are going to be lost. That means 5,000 people are not going to get vaccinated because of human error. And right now, this is something we cannot afford in this day and age, which is why I'm very happy to present Pelican, Foxtec's own proprietary technology. We have developed an all-in-one system for transportation and storage across the world. We are able to have large vaccine capacity from the manufacturing endpoint all the way to vaccination. We have a secure edge IoT server that is isolated to help you monitor what's happening and monitor any temperature deviations. We have battery and DC power. I'll talk a little bit more. And we have instant quality assurance reports available in PDF and CSV. So it doesn't matter if you're in Taiwan, Germany, Indonesia, or anywhere else. You can download your reports in PDF and CSV and know, can I inject these vaccines or not? Because this will be live deciding. The biggest things of why Pelican, we can ship worldwide because we're able to standalone power for 24 hours. So there is no flight in the world that we cannot be on top of. And you don't need to swap any temperature. No need to worry about dry ice. Just put the vaccines, put us on a plane, and you'll be ready to be able to put the vaccine anywhere time. And you know what? It makes me very proud to say this, but we're Taiwan made. And this is something we want to show the world that Taiwan technology is here to help, and we're ready to have it deployed worldwide to help everybody. So if you're in need of such technology and you need this help, please feel free to contact me. This is my information. I'm not Sonic. Sonic's my CEO. But I'm very happy to help you out and get these vaccines rolling out in your immediate information. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yadiel. Again, another good example of Taiwan's strengths in both the electronics hardware industry as well as the biotech industry. So very happy to see that on offer. Finally, I'd like to introduce Eugene Wang, CTO of Magic QB Inc. With their fever or thermal detection technology, which of course is very critical in controlling the flow of people in and out of public areas. So Eugene, over to you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eugene Wang, and I'm the CTO of Magic QB, and I'm specialized in software and hardware design and some solution provider and developer. Okay. The topic today I want to show you that is fever detection thermal camera, the effect and the hops. So the first, I would like to show you 2 video clips. Let's see the first video.
国内的人脸辨识感温系统业者找来山寨版的感温器实际检测，拿出美国总统川普的照片靠近，
You see that?
当然能显示
It gets 36 degrees Celsius from the picture of President Trump.
作为你又能区分打字图片，不会显示温度。
And that's the first. You see that the product from China. Yeah, let's see the next video. It's a little hard to find what the problem is. Can anybody find the problem, where the problem is? Can you see that? Everybody got the temperature from 36 to 37 degrees Celsius. No matter he is closer or far from the thermal camera. That's impossible because if the person more far away, he will get a lower temperature. And if closer, he will get a higher temperature. As long as if they have more than 2 physical sensors, they can have this kind of result. If only one, is impossible. And that's a problem. This one is the product from China also. So, can thermal camera detect the person in fever? The answer is no, and yes, with some conditions. So why no? Because the accuracy of the thermal camera is around 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, so it's impossible to detect the human body temperature accurately. So why there still are so many fever detection thermal cameras? One reason is FDA does not intend to object to this kind of products to import into United States because the COVID-19 is so rush and harsh quickly to the world. So they allow this kind of device to sell in the United States even against the law of 510K defined. So what is 510K? 510K is a kind of a review process of the medical device to import into the United States. Why yes? The only way to accurately measure the body temperature using the thermal camera is to use the black body aside with the head of the person. The black body is a surface with constant temperature to be used as a temperature adjustment reference, like this one. You can see that the person here in the black body is near his head, in very close. And the black body is as a reference temperature to adjust continuously. That's the only way to use the thermal camera to detect the body temperature. So here's the purpose to use thermal camera. One is pre-screen the person in fever in the crowd or in the people flow. Second, easy setup and detect multiple targets in the same time. Third, prevent person-to-person contact and minimize the impact of the flow, and so on. So for all the benefits intended above, is it possible to use black body aside with your head? In reality, it's impossible, right? Not much. So my answer is, I doubt not much, right? So is there a thermal camera can detect the person in fever without black body? Yes, we made it. Yeah. This one. Oh, this one. Okay. Okay. The product we made is called TO1. The highlights is all you need is one device and one person with a cell phone to set up. Very easy. No black body needed with the accuracy up to 0.1 degrees Celsius. The detect distance is up to 3 meters and 5 moving persons in real time. We have a built-in Wi-Fi to see the detect in real time using your own cell phone without the monitor. or with the monitor. We got 3 operation modes: single mode, face detect mode, and a recording mode. We have SDK and API also provided for integration need. And we also have a RTSP stream to integration. Okay, so what's the benefits we use better than BlackBerry? We save you a cost of the BlackBerry. Easy to set up, or the working around of the people in reality. The third is a BlackBerry coverage area in the thermal camera will be damaged in the long run. When there is no need to use BlackBerry, why to use it? So you can see, in short, it's like we have a BlackBerry inside all the time, so we don't need to use the BlackBerry. In some environment crucial conditions, even TO1 is not suitable to use. Just go for traditional way, use your forehead thermometer. In that condition, even with BlackBerry, we do not recommend to use thermal camera to measure the body temperature. So why TO1 can? Because we have one patent-filed physics solution. It's all physics, no machine learning, no AI. And I call no China AI, like 2 video clips. And all measurements are from physics and true readings. Here are some setup recommendations we suggested. You can see we set up the camera in here and against face to the sunlight. That's the second setup. That's the third. So we have some recommendations for this kind of device. The first, you need to set up the environment properly, especially for the route of the people, like this one. The second, the environment temperature and the fluctuations control are also very important. The third, environment temperature should be below 36 degrees Celsius. Fourth, use the BlackBerry. And the fifth, do not face the sunlight. And the sixth, the height of the device should over the shoulder of the people and better direct face to the people. And the final, we also recommend set up TO1 in entrance and also another one in exit if the environment condition is from outdoor to indoor, especially when the outdoor temperature is freezing cold. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Eugene. At this point, we would like to shift the furniture around a little bit to make room for our solution providers to come to the stage here. And we'll open up for a panel discussion and basically a Q&A for each of our participants. So if any of you out there have any questions, or some of you have already submitted your questions, we will be presenting these questions to the panel and getting their responses. So can we get the panel, members to come up to the stage now?
Oh, it's started.
Great equalizer. Oh, okay. I get a seat too. Well, again, thank you to everyone on the panel here. We do have some questions in already. So let me start out with the first one. This is from one of our participants from the EU, who says in the EU there are probably stricter personal data security restrictions there. The GDPR in particular describes a number of these restrictions and is probably in some respects largely overlapping with the Personal Data Protection Act here in Taiwan, but there are differences as well. I don't know if this is too technical a question, if you know any of those differences, but the question is again, what are the differences and what are the solutions that you can provide to our friends in European cities using, again, your solutions that you have provided. I think some of these questions are for also our online participants. I don't know if they are going to be available to field these questions, but if anyone would like to take a stab at that first one.
I can help.
Okay, thank you. Dr. John to the rescue.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes, this is a very important question because in general in Europe has stricter privacy laws. So one thing we did in Taiwan was actually after SARS. So after SARS, the government see this need. And in a democracy, when you see this need, you need to be clear under the Constitution. So the level is a law that's beyond the ordinary law. So the Supreme Court actually ruled that in case such as a COVID-19 pandemic, when we go through this due process, we establish the so-called command center at certain level above. The government has certain right to restrict personal and to have the power to use under certain strict condition of the privacy of the data, of the personal data. So these technology need to be curtailed to each and individual country's privacy law. So it's very important. So it's not you just copy our system and use it. You need to use our framework and then curtail, tailor-made to your individual country's privacy law.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. John. To my limited knowledge of GDPR, and I'm certainly a bit more aware of the PDPA here in Taiwan, I do believe that there are clauses which allow, in circumstances of public safety, for there to be some override of these restrictions. But again, I imagine each country needs to interpret those according to their own local laws and cultures.
Peter.
Yeah, Dr. Lee.
Yes.
Actually, I believe that in Taiwan also we have a very strict regulation about the privacy and the data. So if any audience or any member of the Coastman is willing to work with one of the solutions, we just demonstrate today. For example, the My Code from the Taipei City government. Actually, the Coastman, we can play some of the role when we try to work together, because you need to deal with lots of a problem, the issue, as Dr. Zhang just mentioned. So yes, so feel free to contact us if for the audience, if you're willing to work with not only My Code and every solution we just our speaker just mentioned, will help you to at least to deal with some of the problem of the not only the privacy, but how to do the trial version, how to to work together. I think we can help to do that. Okay, that's my comment. Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you, Dr. Lee. I have a question here for Yadia. Your FoxTech technology looks certainly very innovative and very necessary. We were wondering, the question is wondering with which jurisdictions, which countries, which cities are you in discussions with in using this technology or your product, or which have you actually rolled it out and are using it?
Of course. So we just, is it on? Hello? Okay. So one of the cities we're actually rolling out, we have a city in the United States in the West Coast. We have a couple of cities in Europe already rolling out. Hopefully after today, we have Taiwan CDC rolling it. And we also have in Singapore, we already did our test flight before Chinese New Year. So if you're interested, feel free to contact me. We'll be happy to set up a small pilot for you to get rolling and do the massive scale rollout.
The Taiwan CDC is already, they are fast.
Yes.
Yes, we know that for sure. And I guess the same question perhaps applies to Nevin as well. Are you applying or discussing and rolling out your systems as well elsewhere beyond Taiwan?
Yes, I would like to make the complimentary for last topic about the privacy. Yes, the complimentary is as you see what I show, the electronic fence to leverage the GPS and the mobile location service, it might be debit. Yes, as well, this deposit very frequently recently. So yes, we do many system and data security and make many the security mask and the database. But actually, not only the data security, but all privacy should apply with the regulation. Yes, if any debit occurs, then I think the law constraints or the government should make the adjustment to fulfill the real situations. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Eugene, for you, do you see in the future, if we ever get to a post-COVID future or perhaps a more contained sort of COVID scenario, that your thermal detection systems will be rolled out on an almost permanent basis and on a more comprehensive basis? Where we go? Is this going to be something that you see from your potential customers?
I think in the world, global-wise, I think this kind of product should be used for the next 1 or 2 years at least. Yeah.
Are you seeing interest from airports, from building management companies?
But I see most of the devices useless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but because of those products made our products like them, they take for granted that our product is useless, but the actual is our product is just worth. So that's why I come here today.
Understood. Do we have any of the other speakers online? Is Yongqing available? Perhaps.
Okay.
You are here. Okay. Yongqing, so from your perspective, do you see again you or the city government rolling out this system on, again, a more permanent or more extensive basis? Is it only in response to COVID, or is this something that we can perhaps implement on an ongoing basis to reduce infection rates of flu or other infectious diseases on a more regular and consistent basis going forward?
Okay. Well, the real name registration system that we made place into important role in the new style living since the COVID-19 outbreak. It produced a reliable and measurable list through the process of contact tracking. When Taipei City government began working on this system, the goal we had in mind was to find a way how technology can support our pandemic prevention efforts, while at the same time ensuring convenience for users while maintaining the effectiveness of staff in taking down contact information of visitors. The objective of the system is straightforward. The important part is also like just like data security and privacy protection, as well as stable system that operates smoothly. And our city effort in digital transmitted in recent year. So we are able to take advantage of our comprehensive and solid IT infrastructure, ensuring that the system operates smoothly in a stable environment. That's why we believe that 3 factors to our success lies with comprehensive digital infrastructure and capacity of our development team and data protection. However, I think the top key to success is the willingness of the public, the citizen to work with us. That's why it is important to invest much more effort into policy promotion and implementation. Thank you.
That's a very good point indeed. I think getting the buy-in from the citizens of the city, of the country, to understand why this is being done, to what extent their personal data is being protected, and how this data is being implemented is as important as rolling out the technology itself, getting that sort of PR, that public buy-in. And is Ray on the line still? I know he had some meetings he had to attend. Do we know if Ray is still on the line as well? He is offline, okay. Yes. He's a busy man.
Can I ask a question to Fostech?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hello.
Good.
Okay. Actually, I have a question for Yadia.
Yes.
I'd like to know the cost of your new solution compared to the traditional one. Yeah. So what's the cost between the traditional solution and your solutions? That's my question. Thank you.
One of the most important factors when purchasing our solution is the reduced OPEX in terms of human intensive, because when you have something that requires dry ice, you need to have constantly somebody monitoring to be changing the dry ice. Of course, with our solution, you don't need to buy dry ice.
Yeah.
So you can see around 10 to 20% cost reduction in that sense. And of course, we do scalable pricing.
Yeah.
The more you buy, the more favorable it is for you. But the biggest benefit we have seen that the amount of vaccine waste that is reduced, it's the amount of time. Right now, we have had, out of all the 3,900 doses they put inside, 900 doses are available to be used.
Mm-hmm. So it's very similar to the traditional cost, or probably 2 times. I mean, do you have to give us
Can you give us a number, or is it confidential?
At the moment, it's confidential.
Okay. But you provide free trial, right?
If you're interested, yes.
Yeah. Through the GoSmart platform, you will get a free trial, right?
We can do yes, of course. We will need to sign an MOU, and then we can run out with all the next processes.
Okay.
Okay, in the interest of time, I think we need to move on. But again, I want to thank all of our panelists, all the solution providers, and all the speakers today. for this forum. I think it was, again, very enlightening, certainly for me, I think for all of you too. Please note that this forum will be available online. We'll be able to send out the video or also PPTs that were also presented. There is a QR code in the background on the screen there too that will help you gain access to all that information from the GoSmart system there. And if you have any follow-up questions, I'm sure the GoSmart team here would be more than happy to help respond to you and keep in touch going forward. So again, thank you everybody here today. Thank you everybody online. And thank you to the GoSmart team. Thank you, Stan and the Acer group, Dr. John as well. And we look forward to a happy and healthy future for everybody. In the meantime, again, please stay safe and keep an eye out for these new technologies on the come. Thank you again.
Thank you.